Hi, Graham. How's the injury news looking? Any new injuries? Anyone to come back?
No, everybody's okay. I mean, we've had Adam Lallana's had a little bit of a tight calf at the start of the week. Just been recovering him, so hopefully he'll train tomorrow. But no, nothing fresh from the weekend. And Percy Tau trained this week, so he's back in contention as well. So everybody's fine.
How would you rate the Lions' chances?
Well, they're okay. We just need to see how he is, and like I said, train tomorrow, hopefully, and then we'll make a decision after the training session.
In terms of Premier League survival, you're 7 points clear of Fulham with 5 games left. How confident do you feel?
Well, I'm confident in the team and confident in what we're doing, but whilst you haven't got the points, you always have to respect the fact that it's football. You have to keep fighting. There's lots of points to play for, as we've said every week. Lots of points to play for. No one's going to give up. Everyone's going to keep going to the very, very end, and we have to do the same. And in that regard, we're looking forward to the game on the weekend.
Your running looks tough. Obviously, Leeds, City, West Ham, and Arsenal among them. Does that concern you at all?
I wouldn't say concern, because all the games in the Premier League are tough. There's no easy ones. So I think you've seen from our record over the season and the season before that we're capable of picking up points against any team, and at the same time you're capable of losing to any team, and that's the challenge of the toughest league in the world. But we're confident in what we're doing. We have belief. We're together. We're fighting, and we'll do our best.
Do you think one more win, 3 more points will do it?
As I've said, I think whilst points are still to play for, nothing's for sure. We don't necessarily worry too much about that. It's about focusing on the game at the weekend, playing against Leeds United, who have had a fantastic season, in a really good moment. Marcelo Bielsa, fantastic coach, great football club. So we need to focus on that.
Yeah, in terms of yourselves, no goals in the last 3. Why do you think that is, and what are you doing to try and rectify that?
Well, we played Everton at home, who defended well. There's always another team on the pitch when you play football, so the opponent can sometimes defend well, and Everton did that. And so did Chelsea. Chelsea are quite good as well defensively, so they're a strong opponent. And we didn't attack as well as we would like against Sheffield United, but at the same time, with a bit of luck, could have scored. It's just the margins in football are quite small. We have to keep going, keep working, keep believing, and being positive.
Yeah, you mentioned those margins. Bielsa's been saying he thinks given your performances, you're not where you should be in the table. I know that's something you've stated before, but is it nice to hear it from somewhere else, from another manager? Well,
unfortunately doesn't give us the points. I'd rather have the points, to be fair. So maybe he can be so nice as to say, here's the points on Saturday, but I know that's not going to happen. It is what it is. I respect him a lot. I respect what he's done, what he's achieved. He's done an amazing job there. Fantastic. Great for the game that he's over here. But for us, we know we need to, regardless of what anybody says, we need to do it ourselves. We need to get the points. We need to keep going.
Yeah, they're unbeaten in 6 at the moment. Is it a dangerous time to play them?
I think whenever you play Leeds United, it's a dangerous time. They've proven that over the course of the season. Full credit to them. And like I said, Marcelo, amazing. So whenever you play Leeds United, it's dangerous. They're capable of beating anybody. They're capable of winning. They're a strong team. So we have to be ready, as I've said.
And can I ask you about Jose Hierro? It's obviously great to see him back and playing again. He's had a horrible couple of years. Do you think he's going to stay beyond the end of the season when his contract's up?
I said last week, I think there's a few players that are in that sort of situation around, contracts, and I think we're at a place where we just need to focus on the games and get the season finished. get the job done, and then we can sit down and find the right solution for everybody.
And just finally from me, the social media boycott it's starting to reach out beyond football now, with a lot of sports supporting it, and even some sponsors of sport as well. Are you surprised by the reaction?
Not necessarily. I think it was a bold, good move from football, and we should be proud of that. And I think it's nice to lead that. And then once you take that first step, maybe it's easier for others to follow and to join in and to be part of it. I think it's a great step. That's what it is. It's a step. We need to keep working. I think it's something that we can be proud of as a football family. But there's a lot more to do.
And do you think after this boycott, do you think there needs to be more boycotts? How much of an impact do you think this can have, and what can it achieve?
Well, I think ultimately you've got to try to affect change. And by boycotting, you're sending a message. You're hopefully affecting things in terms of maybe the finances of these platforms and companies, and people then are forced to do something different. We need to make sure at this day and age that, and to understand that with the billions that they have, that there's surely a way to stop this abuse. Being on the platform, there must be a way to do it, and then of course then we have to try to create a world where abuse of any form is not out there, but that might be a bit more difficult.
Thanks, Graham. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hello, Graham.
Hello.
I just was looking at the numbers. 8 points maximum for you to be safe. I mean, realistically, you're not going to need all of them to stay up. I mean, how many do you think would be enough to guarantee your safety? It's not going to be the 8 maximum, is it?
No, I have no idea is the truth, and I could drive myself pretty insane by trying to guess it. My focus is just on the game on the weekend, because we play Leeds United, who are enjoying a very, very good season in a really good place, a good moment. Marcelo Bielsa's done a fantastic job there, and we need to just focus on the game and what we need to do to try to get the points. That's the most important thing for us.
Do you ever look at like a points total and have a target in mind? Because we hear so much about 40 points and stuff like that, but from your point of view, is that never on the horizon?
No, I haven't. Not really. No, I've always just tried to focus on the match, tried to focus on the game. That's my job. You can't worry about what other people do. You can't second guess what other things are going to happen. You can't rely on other people. You have to just do what you can do, control what you can control. Do your very, very best. Understand that it's sport. Understand that you can win and lose, and that's part of what it is. But focus on the things that we can control, which is our performance, which is the game on the weekend.
Just looking back at the Sheffield United game, any defeat is disappointing, but was it doubly, given the fact you were playing a side already relegated and had been in pretty poor form across the course of the season?
Well, it's disappointing to lose, firstly. And at the same time, I wouldn't want to disrespect Sheffield United, because it's not to say that they can't win games in the Premier League. It wasn't so long back that they were in a good place in the league this time last year, for example. And when you're fighting for your future, when you're fighting for your careers, they are still professional footballers that are Premier League players. So it doesn't surprise me that it's possible for them to win a game. We're disappointed because we didn't maybe hit our maximum, but I don't think we were terrible either. On another day we could have got something from the game. We didn't. Again, that's the margins of the Premier League. They scored from pretty much one of their only attacks. We had a few more and couldn't score. So it wasn't a complete disaster, it's just a disappointing result.
Looking at the win at Leeds earlier on this season, what can you take from that? What are the main things that you learned in terms of that victory?
Well, it was a really tricky moment for us, because we'd just played Man City, we just played Newport. It was the third game in the week for us. And I thought we showed real resilience, real character, and intelligence in our play. I think it was we won the game 1-0. It was a tight game. It could have been a draw, but again, it went our way that time. A good opponent, a tough opponent, and I think it was a difficult playing surface at the time, which probably contributed a little bit to the game. I'm expecting a similar thing in terms of a tough match, a high tempo game, one where we have to be really, really good to get the points.
What did you recognise as the main weapons from Leeds that day that you had to be aware of in that victory?
Well, they've been together for a few seasons. They're very well organised. They know what they're doing. They've got threats from all over the pitch. Really, they can attack you through the sides. They can attack you through the middle. Obviously, the intensity they play at has been well documented, and so there's that. They defend with aggression. They attack with aggression, and if you don't match that, then it's going to be a tough afternoon.
And I know that you've been praised by people like Pep for your style of play and being a breath of fresh air. What about Marcelo and the sort of principles that he stuck to for a newly promoted team to come in and play that well and obviously get the results as well as keeping to that style?
I think he's done a fantastic job, and everybody at Leeds United, they've done really, really well. Great to have them back in the top flight, because it's a tremendous football club with great history, tradition, and the way they've taken on the challenge, it doesn't surprise me, because I knew they would. I knew they would just play the way they play. It always sort of makes me smile a little bit when teams have success doing something and then they sort of change when they get to the top, and I knew that wouldn't be the case when you see Marcelo Bielsa's teams and how Leeds have done it, and they've done it well, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, I guess just finally, it shows that if you come up, you can still play expansive football. We might see the same from Norwich next season as well. It's not a prerequisite when you come up. You just need to make yourself solid and tough to beat.
No, and they've had bumps along the way, haven't they? But they've stuck together. They've stuck to what they've wanted to achieve. They've stuck to their beliefs, stuck to what they think is the right thing for them. And as I've said before, in football, there's no right or wrongs. It's just they make their choices, they make them well, and they work really, really hard to make them work. And that's why I have a huge respect for them.
Thank you, Graham. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi there, Graham. Just on Bielsa, is he somebody? Have you looked at his methods? Obviously, you're an admirer of the football that they play, but do you actually look in depth at the way that his team's set up?
Historically, I've been aware of his teams. I wouldn't say I've had too in depth of his methods in terms of how he trains and things like that, but certainly how his teams have played. His Bilbao team, I remember, at Old Trafford one year, they're doing fantastic, and then his national team experiences, and I think one of my first games back in the UK was against Leeds United. I think it was one of our first home games, second home game. So he's someone that I'm, not necessarily familiar with, but I've followed and have huge admiration for.
And what about your squad this week? Obviously, it was bitterly disappointing at the weekend. What sort of reaction have you seen, and what's been the mood amongst the squad building up to this one?
Yeah, I think, as you can imagine, disappointed after the game, very, very much so, because we didn't quite perform as we would like and as we hoped, and disappointed with the results. But the boys they're a really good bunch. They're quite grounded, I think, and they're responsible. They know that we need to go again. We need to, keep fighting. We need to learn from what we experienced at Sheffield United, and then they're ready and they've been training well and they're looking forward to the game.
You mentioned that the social media boycott was a positive move. I just wondered, have you actually experienced first-hand players coming to you who've maybe been affected by abuse online?
I think I have, to certain degrees, at different levels. I think it's natural and it's normal that if people are on those platforms and they witness the at times negativity and at times just downright hatred, that as a human being, as much as we say, oh, let's not listen to that, we're all a little bit sensitive, and we all want people to like us. I think fundamentally that's a human characteristic. So when you do get that abuse, when you do get that, like I said, even negativity, but when it's more serious, when it becomes abusive, it's bound to affect them, and then it's about how they can articulate that and be okay with it in terms of communicating to other people, because otherwise, if you just internalise it and deal with it like that, then it can be problematic.
And in terms of that positive step, is there anything else that you would like to be seen done? Any other moves, within the game or just in general that you'd like to see?
Well, yeah, I know there probably are. I think, I'm not an expert. Like I said, I'm not an expert on social media, but I can see how much the phone and how much those platforms just affect the world that we're in at the moment. It's going to be, that's how it is. We're the face down generation, as someone quoted to me. Everyone's in the phone, they're looking at it. It feels like your phone almost can listen to you and talk to you. You're talking about something, and pretty quickly there's an advert comes up about the stuff that you've just been speaking about. So if the technology is there to do that, then surely it's there to just police things a hell of a lot better than they're doing at the moment, because it isn't right that this thing it does such a lot of good. We have to say that these things do such a lot of good, and it connects people, and there are many positives from it. But like anything, there's good and bad with anything, and I think we just need to really understand how the negative things can impact on people and affect people's mental health, affect people's lives, and really police it as well as we can.